Now, when Zeus became full grown, literally perfect, complete, but here, full grown, lαμβάνει Mῆτιν ten ωκεανοῦ συνεργόν, he takes Metis, the of ocean, and we have to understand here the daughter of ocean, as a helper. Didωσι Kronos καταπιεῖν φάρμακον. Who, and now in English, who could refer back to anything. Here we see has to go back to its antecedent must be feminine, and that's going to be Metis. So Metis is the who here. Who gives to Kronos a drug to gulp down, to swallow down, by which that one, or he, and this is referring to, this is going back, that one, Kronos, throws up first, or actually, probably better to get this. So, having been induced, throws up first the stone, then his children, the children, but remember in Greek, they're just, they're not using these possessive pronouns like we do. He throws up his children, whom he swallowed or gulped down. With whom, now this is a good instance of where this is meta, but it's coming up against an aspirated vowel, a vowel that starts with, is it aspirated? But anyway, a vowel that starts with an H sound, so it causes the t to become the th, or probably just really a t. And if this were methus, it would be after which. So this is an instance where we need to pay attention to the cases. We probably always need to do that. With whom, that is the children, Zeus carried out a war, we'll just say, we might in English just say, with whom Zeus waged war against Kronos and Titans. No, the Titans here, but we'd probably say the Titans. So we'll go ahead here and write out a little translation and just talk about some of this here. I don't know why we'll see. So, ἐπειδη. This could mean since. It could give some, it might have an explanatory force, but in this instance, I said it could mean since, but it doesn't here. When, and this is what we're going to try. When Zeus became full grown. For the multitudes of you who follow this channel and watched the Didақē series, this word came up to describe someone who would turn the other cheek. As someone, like when you got to that level, you would be teleos, perfected. You would have reached this, kind of in a way, the end of the spiritual path, if you can actually do that. But here it is referring to Zeus after he was, we know what happened when he was a baby there, and now teleos is becoming a complete person. I guess we could think of it that way. And then notice he takes, so lambane is present, and I like to keep things in the present. Third person singular present active indicative. he takes Metis. And actually, if we were to write out, we could consolidate this and say he takes Ocean's daughter, Metis. It's not his only daughter, but, you know, I think this still works, as a helper, as a συνεργόν. And with certain adjectives in Greek, you're going to see this. You might think, hey, that looks like a masculine ending. And it is. Some adjectives are just going to have like a masculine and a neuter ending. They're only going to have 2 sets of endings, not 3. He takes Ocean's daughter Metis as a helper who gives, this is another present, who gives, and now I was saying to really emphasize this dativeness, who gives Kronos a drug to swallow, or swallow down, or gulp down. I know we've said it differently, but for now, to swallow, by which, and this kind of like by which means, you know, that one, he, we'll just say he, by which he, being induced, literally forced, first, we'll say maybe just vomits or emits, vomits up or vomits out. I don't know. Let's say, we might say vomits up, or just, let's say, sorry about all that. Let's say, by which he first throws up, this is another present active indicative, he throws up the stone, or the stone that he swallowed, thinking it was Zeus. Then his children, whom he had swallowed. Now, this is an instance where this man is not answered by a de. If you consult Liddell Scott, and we should all do that, they do mention that sometimes man is not followed by a de when it is when the de would be logically understood, or when another particle is kind of being used instead. And I think this particle here is the one that's, you know, on the one hand, he did this first, then this happened. So there's no de here, but this is the correlative clause to the men. And we might just put a period here. We could keep it going if we wanted, but now, as I said before, with whom, we might say, I'm just thinking, I'm just going to put an and here. People can assail my English stylistics later. And with them, Zeus, so here it was, you know, quite literally with whom, but the way, and with them, Zeus, you know, carried out a battle or waged war. And with them, Zeus waged war against Kronos and the Titans. Now, if you, in the old days, before being able to look things up electronically, to search, you know, digitally through dictionaries, you'd have to look up ἐκφέρω. And this looks very different. So they're actually using a different verb in the past to supply that meaning of pharaoh, to carry out. You could say he carried out a war. I like waged, but this is up to everyone. Notice how, what we could do here, just briefly. Let's see if we have a different, I don't like that color. Sorry, everyone. Let's do something a little, you know what, we'll just make it black here. for a minute. We're going to return it. But just to point out that, and this happened before, that this verb is put in between the kind of adjectival part and the noun part. So it's just an interesting thing that I don't think would be able to do in English very well. And not only is this ton πόλεμον, but it's a ton πρός Kronon kai Titᾶνας πόλεμον. So this is part of the adjective as well because of where it is put with relation to this article. And I hope that's not all too boring, but those things, they do kind of matter. And so the one last thing here for those for the multitudes who follow the Pali, the daily Pali reading, this verb here, it's not evident in the present, in its present form, or as the form it takes when it's a present tense verb, but in the past tense, or say the aorist, not in the aorist, it's elabon. And the point is that its actual root is lub. So, and this verb does show up in Sanskrit and Pali.